We are legends.
Hello and welcome to We Are Legends. I am Slowbeast. With me as always is Hate Mail. Also the world famous Ogre Barbarian and the Diaper Genie Kage.
All right, so this is the last part of our one-year anniversary special edition of We Are Legends, and we wanted to... Oh, I was going to talk about the Grundy Event a little bit.
I actually enjoyed it.
Because it was actually surprisingly, like, I was surprised that it was almost kind of hard. Like, I actually had to look at my team and be like, oh crap, I had to take it off auto.
Yeah. Yeah, Etrigan got freaking back kick to the face and died.
So, I mean, it definitely seems like they're ramping up the difficulty of these events. If I didn't have every character, I would actually be a lot more enthusiastic about them. It's just, unfortunately, at this point, I almost kind of wish new character events were this level of difficulty. But I understand that, you know, free-to-play or newer players are going to be super frustrated with it.
Well, I'll put it this way. I actually walked through the final node with, was it Constantine by himself? Because everybody else was dead.
Well, that's how mine was.
Like,
you'll see video of I have video of this event. I actually lost my entire team except for Etrigan. Etrigan was able to, you know, solo it in the end. But I was thinking, I was like, oh crap, I think I'm going to lose. I was like, well, I'm going to have to run this with
That's where I was, because I had just Constantine left. I was like, going into the final node, I'm like, oh god, I have to fight Grundy with just Constantine. What am I going to do?
If Constantine and Etrigan weren't so strong, that event might be super difficult, even for Gear 11 level 80 players.
Yeah, my entire team was Gear 11. Like, that's the thing. I didn't go in there with any Gear 10s.
Yeah, I think the blues that I had in there were my level 80 versions, too, so they were as max could be in.
Yeah, they were hitting hard.
Yeah, so it was... I am...
Like, my Swamp Thing died in the first round.
And I like that they did two different ones so that, you know, newer players who don't have Grundy could still get some shards, but then if you're, you know, more seasoned player that hadn't collected him, you had a more challenging mode to play through, so...
Yes, I did like that a lot. That was a lot of... I did play through both just to see if there was a difference in the storyline. There was not.
Yeah, I did.
Actually, I take that back. There was one bit of storyline that the heroic or the legendary one had. The heroic one did not.
Yeah, if we ever get some kind of shard exchange, that's the reason I've been running these things, which there were hints about that, but now I'm starting to wonder what's going on with it, but maybe that's something coming later. I'm sure it'll eventually make it into the game, and I plan to have a hefty stockpile until before then.
Just imagine that the shard exchange dumps your extra shards for gems, and all your accumulated shards were the amount of gems you've spent in this game.
I don't see that happening, but
we can dream.
I don't see that happening. I'd never have to get gems again, but then I need the shards from the new characters, so I don't know if it would matter to me anyway at this point.
Breaking news.
We were able to get some of the information. I'm sure this is probably going to come out today or tomorrow, but we were able to get it so that we could talk about it on the podcast. So first thing we want to bring up is that, unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's going to be any major events or new features coming for the 2-year anniversary. So I know that was kind of an expectation of the community, and, you know, Ogre kind of hyped it up before, but to be fair to Ogre, he just said, keep an eye out. This would probably be the time frame that it would come out if something were to come out, and he said by the end of the year, so we still have next month to have some hope for. One thing I do want to say that I was told that we could share was that there is a new feature coming. It's not anything super huge like raids or anything like that, but it is a new feature that they were hoping to have ready for the 2-year anniversary, but it wasn't quite ready yet, so maybe next month or in the next couple months. No promises on a timeline, but we know that something new and should be interesting should be coming out pretty soon. But I think all in all, everybody's probably going to be a little disappointed that there isn't anything major coming. Your thoughts, Ogre?
I'm a little worried. about the player base at this point.
Yeah, I think we may lose some longer term people that kind of had their hopes pegged on this.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm still very hopeful for December, if nothing else. And I know it's a 2-year anniversary for DCL, and I'm really hoping that they do, manage to get whatever it was they're working on ready, and maybe they can release it mid-month or something, at least try. I'm hopeful, but I don't know. I mean, I know it's complicated to try and design these kind of things, so.
Yeah, about you, Kage, any, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm echoing the same words as Ogre. It's very concerning, but at the same time, you can't really dump it all on the devs. It takes time to really finish these products, and, you can't just say, oh, well, this company does it better or whatever. You can't compare. So, take it easy. Just set your expectations low.
Well, here's another thing that I do want to say. Especially since the community constantly complains about, oh, well, this character just came out and has a bajillion bugs. If you're the developer and you're trying to develop a feature and all of a sudden you release it and it has 1 million bugs, yeah, that's bad. So I can't blame them for wanting to, continue to test it and make sure it works perfectly when they release it. I can't blame them for that.
But at the same time, it's been a very long time since we've had anything new, except for Siege, which I really hope we see again sometime in the near future. I was really kind of hoping that we would see it this month, but I guess there are some tweaks, and I have been told that it will eventually come back. They just haven't said when.
Yeah.
And then one other thing, keep an eye out in your inbox, because there will be a 2-year anniversary gift, and it is a little bit better than the spin wheels. So it won't just be, what did we get last time? Was it 8, 10 spin wheels? It's not going to be 20 spin wheels. So.
We had a really cool sale last year. It was like a villains sale and a hero sale. That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
wasn't that how people got Steppenwolf out of order or something?
Yeah, that was bugged.
All right, well, on to, just to kind of get that out of the way, on to the things that are exciting for this month is the new characters, which these new characters look like they're finally going to truly shift the meta, I think. So let's...
And I think these are absolutely characters that really kind of everybody's been asking for, and they really do epitomize the 2-year anniversary of this game, I think, and at least in that aspect, so...
Yeah, I'm really, really excited for both Zod and Brainiac. They're awesome characters. And the character that... Let's go ahead and get into Zod, which is a free character for the month. And his superpowers... seems like he's got a really neat kit. Seems like he's going to be anti-Harley, anti-evasion, which we can't ever have enough of. And the first ability, Heat Vision Strike, special damage to an energy. That's the other thing to note. He is also a special damage character. Legendary, if Zod deals a critical hit, apply 1 heal immunity and deal 10% 2 damage. So we also get the heal immunity built into that, so that helps with the Atrocitus teams. It seems like he's almost a one-stop shop for everybody but Wonder Girl.
Almost, yeah.
Almost. But that's what Brainiac's for, so we'll get into him in a little bit. His second ability, Kneel Before Zod, gain 3 intellect up, 2 crit chance up, 50% chance to gain 75% turn meter up. Legendary, extend duration of buffs by 1 turn. So
that is a huge amount of turn meter up if you hit that.
You get a ton of buffs. So, once again, buffs are scary, but if you're running with Brainiac, it may not be such a bad thing.
I mean, to be fair, it puts him at 5.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
So that's important. That's important.
It does put him at 5.
As long as he's not gaining buffs anywhere else.
Right.
As long as he's not gaining buffs anywhere else, he's in the safe zone. So
exactly. The third ability, Freeze Breath. Heavy special damage to an enemy. Always apply 5 intellect downs. Legendary cooldown, -1 for all of Zod's abilities if enemy is killed. Which that is...
that's pretty monstrous.
Yeah, that's pretty monstrous. Sounds like it does a ton of damage. It sounds like he'll be able to just muscle his way right through Harley Quinn, MJ. And then if you're attacking any of the special damage characters, 5 intellect downs, that neuters an Etrigan or a Starfire or one of those. So that's pretty awesome.
Sounds pretty good to me.
His Warmonger's passive ability, Zod gains 50% crit damage, Legendary, can't miss on all attacks, which that's the one that caught my eye
bonkers.
first. I mean, sounds like he's going to do special damage, critical special damage, and he can't miss. So your Batgirls...
I'll take it.
And if you're able to open with Freeze Breath, so you got a Red Robin, give it to Zod, assuming Zod needs it. His speed's not bad. It's 80, so it's 117.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah, he's a decent speed character. So, but if you want to give him
faster
turn
than
one,
Harley.
give him a turn one, depending on Freeze Breath doing a ton of damage, you might just nuke a ton out of Batgirl teams.
Wait. His intelligence is 1445 plus 1245. I don't know who to compare that to. I don't know if that's gonna do that much damage.
2690.
Who does that compare to? Etrigan?
Like all of the really high damage special damage.
Oh, so he might be pretty good.
I want to say Dr. Poison has like 26.
Okay.
And I want to
How does he
say
compare to
Starfire is right around there too. I want to say Starfire is right around that 26 mark.
Yeah, so that could be a little nutty.
Yeah.
Assuming, okay, well, we're making a lot of assumptions here, but we'll see. Yeah. And what's his leader, or his last ability?
His last ability, I'm not sure if that's a leader or not, but his last ability is all allies gain 15% crit damage, legendary. If teammate deals critical hit, 70% chance for Zod to gain death immunity, plus 10% chance if teammate is a Kryptonian.
It sounds like a leadership the way it's worded.
I'm assuming it probably
but that doesn't
is.
That doesn't mean anything, so...
Yeah, it probably is, but assuming so, that's basically turns him into he's very similar to Starfire in my mind in a lot of his abilities.
I just checked your Starfire's max abilities, and I'm just reading your profile. Starfire's base intelligence is 1503 and plus 1245.
So he's not far off.
So he's
just under her by like 10 points or something.
So he's going to be a special striker, it sounds like, but we don't know if he has a leadership ability or not.
Yeah, well, so can you imagine him and Starfire back-to-back nukes? Oh my god. Physicals are never going to survive again.
And that's okay, because physicals have ruled the arena for far too long.
Yeah, I mean, for a little while before Starfire first came out, it was like physicals just fell off the map, and then Wonder Girl kind of neutralized them, but I think they're coming back. Or they're taking the back seat.
I would have.
All right, so let's move on to the one I'm most excited about, and that is Brainiac. His first ability is damage to an enemy, gain 30% shield. Legendary, gain double shield if Brainiac has no shields, which he sounds like he's going to be heavily shielded. Okay, hang on 1 second.
30 or 60% shield. I like that. That is huge.
Okay, I just got confirmation. They are both leadership abilities.
Okay.
Next ability, the Shrink Ray, light damage, and apply 6 strength down to an enemy. Legendary, gain crit immunity. That
sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I mean, that's basically kind of like Medfill, but also getting crit immunity so that he will stay alive much easier. So if he takes an enraged punch to the face, he doesn't take 138,000 damage.
Right. No crit for you.
Yeah. So maybe he'll just take 70,000 damage.
Well, no, because all of her damage is from her crit, because she gets bonus crit damage.
Exactly. So he might actually survive that punch, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
Next ability, Might of Kolu, damage to an enemy, plus 100% chance to stun if Brainiac is shielded. Which I don't think...
That's amazing.
That is amazing, because sounds like he's going to be shielded. And what I'm really excited about is it sounds like when we get through the rest of this, is Hal Jordan Green Lantern might just make a comeback big time between him and Atrocitus.
Yeah.
Next legendary, if Brainiac is shielded, 60% chance to use Might of Kolu on an additional random enemy. So basically you can stun 2 enemies with a 60% chance.
That's pretty bonkers.
I really think the stun meta is here, finally.
Maybe. Yeah. That's a little optimistic.
Well, think about it. Using him with Donna Troy, there's a lot of potential there.
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe even Superboy.
Joker damage goods.
Yeah, I don't think so. I've tried. I'm done with trying to make him work. I concede defeat.
Fair
His
enough.
next ability, Mind Possession. 25% chance to call assist each time Brainiac attacks. Legendary, give rage immunity to team at start of battle. Ah, that is so good. I'm so excited
That
about that
ability is really awesome.
I don't think I'm ever going to use anyone Brainiac as leader ever again. It's just, he gets rid of...
I'm actually just excited about the passive itself. 25% chance to call an assist every time he attacks? What?
He sounds like he's going to be ridiculous, and I would hope a character of the magnitude in the DC lore that Brainiac is, that he was going to be pretty ridiculous.
This sounds like it. What did you think about that, Slowbeast?
I agree.
His final ability, and the one that we're all going to be most excited for, give damage immunity to the team at the beginning of each ally turn until the end of that ally's turn. Which, we'll just pause there before we read Legendary. That is your Wonder Girl answer right there.
Okay, so just as an initial thought, it sounds almost exactly like the death immunity from Wonder Woman's taunt.
Yep, it sounds just like that, except it's damage immunity, so that means
Right.
you're going to hate this Roger, but no bleeds.
Well, I mean, it really depends on when it triggers, like in the stack, if the bleeds go over it or not. So, but I probably will hate
I have
it. Yeah.
a feeling it's going to block bleed damage. Damage immunity
I
at the
probably will hate
beginning
it,
of
yeah.
ally's turn until the end of that ally's turn.
Yeah. I probably will hate it.
But you can build your stun comp now. And then
This is true.
Legendary, the Legendary upgrade, if that wasn't enough, start battle with 30% shield on Brainiac and 15% shield on the rest of the team.
That's actually pretty
That's
damn
pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome.
Damn good. I'm just looking at his stats right now. He's got a 1300 base stat or base strength stat, and he looks like he has a physical support gear set. So
So plus 1,000 more.
yeah, plus 1,000 more. So he, I'm comparing him to Atrocitus because they both have similar gear sets and stats. So I don't see Brainiac doing that much damage compared to Atrocitus, who has a strength value of 1343. And, you know, his basic doesn't do that much damage. So that's where I would set my expectations, is to be like an Atrocitus type character.
Yeah, and honestly, reading his kit, I wouldn't want him to do a ton of damage because he would be insane.
He already does
Definitely.
so much.
Yeah, I mean, he does almost everything you want on a team. He stops Harley with the rage immunity, so you're safe to use characters that would normally get enraged. He stops so many different things. Stops Wonder Girl, possibly stops
He
bleeds.
has stuns. He has call assists.
Yeah, I mean,
He gets
his crit
shielded
immunity,
like crazy.
shields.
This sounds fine.
Yeah,
I
I
think-
think sounds awesome.
I think people are going to wail pretty hard for this guy.
Yeah,
His PvP week's going to be a nightmare.
yeah, I'm looking forward to wailing heavy on that one.
I'll be waving at you from the sidelines. Have fun!
Rework it, girl. Rework it. Let's move on to the reworks. And I'm pretty excited about these reworks, too, actually. Doombox is going to be super excited for this one. The first one is Doomsday. And his first ability, damage to an enemy, gain 1 strength up, always, agility up, always, and stamina up, always. Legendary, gain 1 extra strength up, agility up, and stamina up. Has that changed? I haven't played
No.
Doomsday enough to
I don't think so.
No, it's
Okay.
the same.
Unless the damage on it changed, but the ability itself sounds the same.
Okay. Then his adaptive defense, gain 5 affinity power up, always. Gain a medium overheal if Doomsday has 4 plus buffs. Legendary, gain plus 25% turn meter up and 1 speed up, always.
That's changed.
Yeah, he didn't gain the speed turn meter, and I don't think he gained the speed ups, correct?
No,
Yeah,
the original.
And no overheal.
Original was like a -1 cooldown to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So that's actually really good. His weakness is always that he couldn't ramp up fast enough, and what he did, he didn't do enough damage. So I think that kind of helps with that.
the next
Right,
one. I
but
don't
this is
think
his heal and affinity power, so it's not necessarily going to ramp him anymore to gain that speed.
well, he's going to gain 25% turn meter, which will help.
That's true.
The next one, I don't think this one changed at all. Heavy damage to an enemy, only usable if Doomsday has 8 plus buffs. Legendary cooldown, -3 on Devastator if target is killed.
Nope,
That's
that's
the same.
exactly the same.
Next one, energy feedback. 65% chance to counter with evolving strikes, which is his basic, if Doomsday has 6+ buffs. Legendary.
So we no longer have Doomquake, an active skill. We now have what sounds like a passive?
Yeah, passive counterattack has a 65% chance to use his basic if he has 6+ buffs, which I actually think that's a really good change.
That's interesting, yeah.
I mean, his AoE before, it did very little damage. It was cool when it stunned, but it really didn't stun often enough to...
Right, no, I don't mind the change. I just wanted to point out that it was a pretty big change.
And I think that will get help with the ramping significantly.
Right, and now you're going to want to use that opening 5 affinity ups and gain 1 speed up because it gets you to 6. Whereas the basic only gets you to... No, it gets you to 6 also.
Well, and the nice thing is that if you run a Brainiac as the leader on the team, you don't have to worry about him getting whipped to death.
Nope, not at all.
But he'll get purged. So.
Well, and then the other great
thing still get purged, but...
Legendary gain crit immunity and 30% turn meter up whenever Doomsday receives a critical hit. So if you do get critical hit...
I'm sorry, what?
Legendary gain crit immunity and 30% turn meter up when Doomsday receives a critical hit.
That is good.
Wow.
And he can take a beating as it is. So if he gains crit immunity, speeds up, and then he's now critically immune, that is freaking awesome.
Oh my god.
To put his passive into perspective, Bane procs at like about 40% of the time. Donna Troy counters 40% of the time. So this guy's going to be countering a lot.
Yeah.
Bane has a 25%, actually.
That's 40-some-odd% to counter, or to trigger his passive.
To trigger the attack? Or
No,
his passive?
to trigger
His passive is 48.
Buff. Yeah, to trigger the buff is what I mean.
Okay, the buff is 48, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think, being crit immune, you see how hard it is to kill any character that's crit immune.
Yeah.
Oh, not to mention the stamina ups because he just counterattacked you in the face. Good lord.
And his last ability, Indestructible. Doomsday revives with 50% health and 8 buffs always the first time he's killed in battle. Legendary gain 5 mins upon revive, which that hasn't changed either.
Sounds exactly the same.
Yep.
But that counterattack, oh my god.
Yeah, I think that those are some good changes. I think Doomsday may actually, especially with the addition of Brainiac, I think he's going to be much more viable.
He didn't really need a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that counterattack is exactly what he needed. Holy crap.
And now the last rework, which I'm super excited for because it's one of 2 characters now that I need shards for to get to Legendary 5. And that is Bizzaro number 1. So Bizzaro. And I love these changes. So Bizzaro, his first ability, Bizzaro Hug, damage to an enemy, plus 100% damage if Bizzaro is debuffed. Legendary, 6% true heal for each debuff on Bizzaro, maximum of 6. Which that's
okay, so
significantly
I think the bonus damage went down just a little bit, because I think it was 115, unless I'm confusing myself with Grundy. But I think it was 115, and then the true heal doubled because it was 3 max. Now it's 6.
And it's for each debuff, and I think before it was a max of 3, not 3%.
Yeah. Sorry, that's what I was talking about.
Bizzaro say hi, gain taunt, 5 stamina ups, and a heavy overheal, which there was no overheal
5
before.
stamina ups and a heavy overheal?
Yeah, that was not there before. And
what?
then the legendary, which is even better, gain damage immunity if Bizzaro is bleeding. So they're really trying to shut you down, Ogre.
Well, to be fair, he always had that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that part. I haven't used him much in so long.
Well, that's the thing. Nobody uses him, so don't worry about it. I might have to now.
The next ability, which this was a pretty big change, which I really liked, is Flame Breath, special damage, and apply 2 to 3 bleeds to all enemies. Which before it was only 1 bleed.
It was 1 to 3. And it was decreasing chance with each one, so it was weird.
I've only ever seen 1 when I've used them.
It's like 100% chance for 1, 50% chance for the second, and like 25% chance for the third. So it's really weird.
The legendary upgrade, which I really like this, apply 1 extra bleed for each debuff on Bizzaro. Which that could be a ton of bleeds.
That is nuts.
I mean, he could be anywhere from 7
to
to
9?
9 bleeds if he has
Good
debuffs on
lord.
him. So he's definitely an anti-debuff character, big time.
I will gladly be using this. What's that, Harley? You want to use your hammer and int down? Oh, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Bizzaro, I'm happy.
The next ability is Freeze Vision, special damage, and 70% chance to stun an enemy. Always apply 3 downs as a legendary upgrade. That was exactly the
Doesn't
same.
sound like that changed.
And then Bizzaro number 1. Overheal self if Bizzaro is dealt a critical hit. Legendary, gain death immunity at the beginning of battle.
What?
What?
Yes, that is
Wait,
amazing. And the legendary, and I'm pretty sure this is a passive, overheal self if Bizzaro is dealt a critical hit. So anytime he gets crit, he
So that's
overheals.
pretty much the same, but just changed to an overheal.
But this was not there. Legendary, gain death immunity at the beginning of battle. So you can start the match with death immunity.
So he's gonna get a turn regardless.
Exactly.
Well,
Good lord.
what's the point? I don't see any energy characters getting one shot. Oh, wait, Wonder Girl. Never mind.
I was
Shut
gonna
up,
say
Kage.
there's a few energy characters that can one-shot you.
Well, it just means that, like, you can't pile in on him either.
Yeah, so he definitely will get a turn, and there will be. I wonder how many turns that lasts. I mean, we don't know if it's only just one turn. It may be longer.
Oh,
Probably
geez.
is, but you never know.
If that's a 2 or 3 turn, oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Which by the time you're listening to this, we'll probably be playing with them and we'll know, but at this moment in time, we don't know.
Yeah, we have no idea. That sounds so cool.
So let's talk a little bit about... So let's just talk real quick about what the PvP board clear reward is going to be. Livewire, which is pretty cool board clear reward. I think a lot of people probably
Hooray,
don't.
another character I don't need.
Yeah, I don't need them either, but I only need 2 characters, so I can't really complain anymore.
Yeah.
The PvP tournaments this month, Bizzaro is the first week of the Wraith Arena. Then we have Brainiac, then Doomsday, then Beast Boy. That'll be an interesting month.
So I'm actually going to be playing PvP this month.
I think a lot of people are going to go hard for Bizzaro, Brainiac, and then I'm sure there's a few people that need Beast Boy too. And then the
Doomsday
showdown,
is, like, really good now all of a sudden, it looks like, so...
yeah. The showdown tournaments this month, we're going to have, for November, we have 2 showdown tournaments, which would be Silver Banshee, and the board clear for that one's Lex Luthor Assault Warsuit. And then we have both featuring, they're both Silver Banshee for the first 2. And then there's 2 Blitz tournaments. One's a female Heroes Blitz, and one's a Mystical Blitz.
Woohoo!
Wonder Girl, yeah!
All hail the almighty uterus.
And then November events, win General Zod.
All right, well, moving on, let's discuss the merger, and just so fans understand what we're planning. So we are going to move to cut costs, and we've been talking about doing this for a while, and we had a few technical difficulties, but DP and I decided that we're going to merge our streams into what is currently the We Are a Legend stream, just because we have a little bit more subscribers, so we thought it'd be an easier transition. And we're going to rebrand it to be determined name.
Right.
We'll announce sooner than
Well,
later.
I was just talking about that on the Oddsmen podcast that probably is out by now by the time you guys are listening to this. But I mean, the main idea is that there are a couple of platforms when I was researching into this, and actually I was listening to other podcasts and remembered that this was a thing. We can rename Patreon accounts, and we can rename SoundCloud accounts and the URLs. So hopefully those who are subscribed to our podcast, it'll just stay that way, and the name will just automatically change on whatever medium you're using it on. But the main idea, as Hate was saying, is that we are 2 different podcasts currently, and as such, we're paying for different services to host our podcasts. So the fact that we're working already to collaborate with each other, making each show weekly, like one after the other, we don't see a real point of having two different services to do the same thing. So at the end of the day, we are doubling our costs for no reason. So we're just trying to think, well, what can we do to not do that, because it's very wasteful, right? And so from the way it looks like, both SoundCloud accounts don't really matter at this point because, truth be told, both SoundCloud accounts are still relatively young, so merging one into the other doesn't really matter. Where it does matter is the Patreon accounts, right? So the Patreon accounts, for those of you guys who are generous enough in supporting us, those of you who subscribe to the Oddsmen and We Are Legends, who are patrons of both, we're going to make it so that you don't have to be patrons of both in the future. So most likely what's going to happen is that the Oddsmen Patreon account is going to combine with the We Are Legends Patreon account, and I'm going to shut down the Oddsmen account so that it's no longer there. So those of you who are already doubly subscribed, you'll just lose your subscription there. Those of you who are patrons of the Oddsmen only, if you want to continue supporting us, I suggest that once we're ready to do the merger, once we're ready to transition over, we'll let you guys know what the new place is going to be called, and then you guys can move over there and continue supporting the We Are Legends Oddsmen channel over there. So that that way everybody's in the right place, no one's doubly subscribed, and then, I think it'll benefit most people in the long run, right? So it's not going to really hurt you guys who are supporting just the Oddsmen, right? And as such, because we're combining together, most likely we're going to have more stuff to offer you guys because we're a bigger group, right? So that's sort of something to look forward to.
The other thing is that if you're paying for one and also paying for the other, feel free to double up your donations to the Patreon.
So yeah, if you're a $5 subscriber, feel free to pay 10. It's all good.
We were going to announce new patron rewards on this episode, but we might be holding off a little bit longer on that because now that we're doing this merger, we had kind of different strategies at doing patron rewards, so we want to make sure we're all on the same page on what we're going to do. One of the patron reward tiers will definitely be ringtones with "Oh my God, shut the hell up" from Ogre.
Oh my God, shut the hell up!
Oh man, I was just going to say that. Now I was thinking of a couple of series of ringtones that we could do for people at different levels, right? We could do, for example, it's quirky, but we could do at the $1 level you unlock this ringtone, at the $2 level you unlock this ringtone, and so on and so forth. But I was thinking of things like, because we have a lot of random clips, especially with Doom, saying like random stuff like how Etrigate is bad and why do people play him, things like that. So. Yeah, exactly.
There's
So
definitely gonna be some good ones.
Yeah, I can work with Hate behind the scenes to sort of make that stuff happen. So work our Audacity magic.
So we got those planned. We also have one of the patrons wanted to do at maybe the $10 tier. You could be a guest on the show, which I'm all for. So we'll talk to DP about that. But we have a few different ideas to kind of make this better. We had the $50 hit the $50 a month tier to do the website, which we've been working with DCLegendsOnline.com to do. So we've been doing that. So we want to come up with a new, maybe when we get to $100 a month, something that we can reward you all with.
Basically, what that website is going to be turning into is it's going to be a portal for all things DC Legends related, in terms of like an unofficial website, right?
Yeah, and so Kage and I have access to it. I've been posting the shows to it. I've been posting the legendary orders. So if you don't want to have to sift through Google Docs, that's going to be one of the best places to find. Another idea I've had that DP and I have started discussing, but we haven't really hammered out the details, is that I really wanted to do some kind of, we jokingly called it, what was it? WROH? Was that it?
Oh yeah. Well, it was based around we are odd legends, right? So and basically calling it something like
WROL or something like that.
Yeah, WROL broadcasts or something like that. So make it sort of like this newsy style of show, right?
And the thought behind that was with the podcast, because a lot of times something would drop, and then the day after some news would happen. We thought about moving the podcast, one of the podcasts anyway, the We Are Legends portion, to kind of a monthly recap, and then work on doing news blasts so that if something new drops within 24 to 48 hours, we'll do a 10 to 15 minute podcast, talk about the new news, drop some video with the new characters if there's characters with it. And because a lot of people have requested they would rather see 10 to 15 minute blurbs, but they want to see them more frequently. So that might be a way to accomplish it. It would also make editing a little easier, because it's hard to block out an hour, but it's easy to block out 15 minutes just to pop on, chat for a little bit. And then one of the things we thought about doing too is some of our maybe our higher tier patrons and or community members, if they want to review it, send it to us. We can kind of make you additional news anchors out in the field. So
sort of like splice them into the newsreel, right?
Exactly. So and even then, so say me, you, Ogre, Kage, none of us are available to record. We have great listeners out there who have, I'm thinking of Tech Paradox, who does his recap. He could throw out a news channel. We could splice in, us kind of just queuing it up and
sort
then submit it out
at the beginning. At the beginning of each month, he sort of like runs through the one-stop post.
Yeah. So I thought that would be a cool idea to get more community members involved. And then now that we have the combined channel, that would will basically be all things DC Legends news. Yeah. So that's one of the ideas we have out there. After you listen to this, give us some feedback on what you think of that. If you think that's a good idea, it's something you'd like.
Now, the one thing that I really liked about the idea of having shorter episodes and sort of clip-based type of things that are spanned over the course of a couple one week, one after another throughout several weeks, is that a lot of us, amongst the five of us that are here, so you and Kage and then me, Ogre, and Doom, the three of us have very sporadic schedules, and it's very hard to get a lot of us together. Even just between the Oddsmen, having me, Ogre, and Doom all on at the same time is actually really hard. So the fact that we can split things up like this, we can do a show with just two people, right? Very easily. And now that there's five of us, there can be any combination of us at any time, right?
Yeah, and I think eventually that's the way the show's going to move. Right now, we're going to kind of ease everyone into continuing doing We Are Legends and the Oddsmen, but eventually we might move more to, and then maybe each of us, for those of you that really like the old style of each of our podcasts, we might do like a monthly recap that kind of blends the two elements. But I think going forward, as we collaborate, like DP said, it's just sometimes it's almost impossible. The way Ogre's schedule works is very, we've been doing Sunday mornings, but Ogre has to get up early to record. So, and he really enjoys doing it, so we want to continue to do it that way. But the different combinations of people will work better when we have five people that we can piece together.
I mean, the fact that Ogre works like late shifts, and I live in Japan, so it's literally the opposite time of the day for me. And you basically don't sleep very late at all, so you basically go to sleep very, very early, like around.
Yeah, I'm on the East Coast, and I'm like the old man of the group, so I'm usually opposite schedule from everyone else.
You bring new meaning to the word "early bird gets the worm."
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyways, I mean, in terms of the actual shows going forward right now in the very, very immediate future, for those of you who may be panicking or something like, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to the formats that we're used to by now? So for the very near future, let's say in the next couple of weeks to a month or so, I'm going to be transitioning over a lot of the existing Oddsmen channels or episodes that are on our archive to the We Are Legends SoundCloud account. So that's eventually going to be taken down before the month of November. At the very least, I'm going to keep it there. I'm just going to double up all the episodes over to the other channel as well. And then the format going forward, until we get something really hammered out, until we know exactly where we're going forward with the new formatting, we're going to keep the formatting the way it is. So meaning it's going to be 1 week of We Are Legends, 1 week of the Oddsmen, alternating like that. So they're just going to be all in one place and easier to find for those of you who are already subscribed to both of us. So you won't have double up. The only thing is, I'm assuming it will work on SoundCloud, but when we upload our episodes, they're still going to have their individual cover albums. They're going to be unique. They're just going to be on the same place, not two different podcasts in that sense. So for the time being, that's the plan. I'm thinking maybe like if everything goes well, maybe we're going to be looking at formatting changes probably in the new year. What do you think?
Maybe even sooner than that, because I'll have some time off more frequently through November, December to kind of work on some of this stuff. So ideally, maybe after Thanksgiving, we might start implementing, or at least adding in some of the new news blurbs and current.
So like late November.
Yeah, it's
late November.
That's what I'm hoping. I mean, I'm not gonna make any promises, but that's what I'm hoping for. Maybe
we could aim for Christmas, make a nice present for everyone.
Yeah, so we may start releasing some of our little news blurbs in between. Just kind of keep the formatting the same, and then start adding those in more frequently. See how it works, see how everybody likes it, and then we may scale back some of what we're currently doing because we don't want to triple up content and give you too much things repeating the same stuff. Because one of the problems that we had before too is that if you're listening to, because I'm guessing a huge number of you listen to both podcasts, and we kind of talk about the same thing twice. Like we just, for example, Beast Boy, we tried to keep it kind of short because we knew the Oddsmen just talked about it the week before, but it doesn't make sense for us to repeat the same thing over and over. Yeah. So, I mean, it's nice to get a different view from a different person, but Ogre's on both podcasts. He's kind of almost repeating the same thing. So kind of avoid that going into the future, ideally, to give you more.
Well, looking at it like this, right? If we want to keep the episodes shorter, now, the way the Oddsmen have done things in the past was that we had a monthly episode before, and we did everything in one episode, right? And that episode usually was like a 2-hour-long episode. Yeah. But because the way we split things up into 2 weeks, we split, like, let's say the rework characters, the new characters, one of each in each episode. Now, if we're all on the same channel, we're all doing the same thing, one after another, and we're splitting it up, like, let's say, in the span of 4 weeks, why don't we just spend 1 week talking about each character? So that way we go, so let's say the week of the freebie character, when their HC is up, we start talking about them, right, on the first week. The next week is going to be the week of the first rework character, so we'll talk about that person, right, and so on and so forth. So we go through one character a little bit at a time, unless, we have to jump the gun. We're really excited about, let's say, the paywall character, so we'll talk about them when we want to talk about them, right?
That was my long-term vision with the news thing, was we kind of, reworks come out, we give our just initial thoughts, and then a later episode, now that you've played with it for a couple weeks, you can kind of give a new opinion. Because, what you think about a character the first week and what you think about a character the last week are usually very different.
How about we'll do it like, because we'll do like, we could do like a news episode, like a flash when the first preview comes up, because there's always there's two previews, right? Yeah. There's the first one that introduces the characters, but they don't really go into too much detail. They go into, like, they give you an idea of what the theme of the month is, right? And then the next preview is they get into the kits. They show the kits, they show the gear sets, right? So we can basically do 2 flash episodes, sort of newsy things like, news flash, breaking news. This is like the characters for November, right? And then the next news flash will be, now that we know that so and so are the characters for November, this is what we know about them. These are our initial thoughts. So we can go through several people talking about certain things, right? So speaking of which, should we talk about the November characters by the time this podcast drops?
We actually talked about that earlier, and we think it's going to release right before they announce it officially.
Okay.
Because they usually release on Friday, and then we're probably going to release this on Wednesday. So
we're just going to miss it. That's the question. Well, here's the thing. If we release on Wednesday, it's October 31st, right?
Yeah.
Now, November is on a Thursday. November starts on a Thursday. So they might have to push it earlier, is what I'm saying.
They might do Thursday, but historically, when we were looking at it, it does fall on the Friday most often. And our 1-year anniversary episode released on Halloween last year, so I figured we might as well just stay consistent. We'll save it. We can.
Okay.
we'll let whatever next episode of whoever.
Sure.
Or we can release our first news blurb immediately after.
Sure. That's fine.
Breaking news.
Yeah. Alrighty then. I mean, for the time being, like I was saying, the Oddsmen are in the transition process right now of sort of wrapping things up where we're currently at. So, like I said, I'm going to keep both accounts open at least for the rest of November, and then probably by the end of November, well, I'm going to take off my automatic subscription renewal for the SoundCloud account on the Oddsmen channel. That channel may still be up there, but I won't actually delete it for a while. The problem is that by not having the subscription renewal, you're going to have the account's going to become a free account. And the problem with the free account is that it'll only let you keep, I think, about 6 hours worth of podcasts on the account. So for those, if you suddenly see like only a couple of episodes that are on the Oddsmen channel, that's the reason why. So don't worry about it. Make sure you're tuned in to Reddit and other aspects of our social media to figure out where to go to be, in the loop with this type of thing.
Well,
right?
The nice thing about the merger is that I am extremely unorganized, and I don't follow schedules very well. So that's what DP is here for. He keeps us all on track.
Yeah, I'm the secretary of the group. Alrighty. So, but yeah, lots of new things and good things to look forward to, especially the new year. Definitely going to be something that we're going to be working on hard.
And one other thing I'll just mention in this portion of the podcast, because I have like 3 hours of editing to do already. This episode's already huge. We were going to have a ton of guests, but I'm running out of time to record because I leave for vacation on Wednesday of this week, and I won't be returning until Monday of the following week, and that leaves me 1 day to edit, and 3 hours of audio is usually, 9 hours of editing? So it's roughly. So we'll probably not going to add any more to this podcast because when you're listening to this, you'll see how long it is.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you guys, just so that you know, now that you know, I guess, the work that we do behind the scenes is pretty long and pretty painstaking. So even though the episode looks like it's only half an hour long or an hour long, think double or triple that is the amount of time that we have to put into editing it. So.
Oh, and a part I won't included this. I had Slowbeast do a ton of just things to say to be part of the podcast. So I'm going to make it sound like he's in the entire podcast. Oh my god, that's going to take me so long.
I don't envy you.
That is going to take forever, but I have to do it.
We could bring back Slowbeast in terms of like audio clips and things like that to be part of our Patreon rewards too. Like the Slowbeast is like this mythical beast, this mythical entity that exists behind the curtains. He's like the Wizard of Oz, right? He's like pulling the strings.
Well, I had him record a few things just to, the running gag on our podcast is to pick fun at Kage. So Kage doesn't know this, but I had him record. One of the things I had him record is, Kage, you just said everything Ogre just said, and then and then I was gonna do a little parrot sound behind him.
To be fair to Kage, I know where you're coming from. Sort of, I don't know if this is like an Asian thing because growing up I had the same sort of thing too, and a lot of people, especially now that I live in Japan, a lot of people have been telling me like, you kind of just said everything that this guy just said. So I kind of know where he's coming from.
I don't know. I never noticed it, but just somebody complained about it on one of the YouTubes or whatever, so I thought it was hilarious. So I was like, oh, we're going to add that.
I think that we have this sort of, maybe it's a mechanism or something, or sort of a reactionary thing where we like to confirm what other people are saying so that we understand what they're saying, right? But it gets annoying. I get it. So... Anyways, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, we love you, Kage.
Well, and then I am, I don't know if I'll include that anyway, but maybe I will, because it's kind of funny.
Okay.
But then, the other one, Ogre, today, he said during when we were recording, he goes, I don't really have a problem with that character, so that's his new sound drop. I even told him as soon as he said, I said, yep, that's your new sound drop. So.
Yeah. I don't see what the problem is. I kind of, every time we talk about Etrigan, I want to put in Doom's like reaction. Like, I don't understand what's the problem with Etrigan? He's not even that good. I need to have my own like sort of catchphrase, my own soundbite. I don't know what it would be though.
So, I was wondering for myself, but I was like, I'll let somebody else find it and edit it in. It's like the person who does the editing gets to pick the nonsense. So.
It'll probably be if it's something for me, it'll probably be me picking on the marketing team or me picking on the shop or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, there was one time where I was talking about like the marketers and how I think it was the Two-Face pack the Two-Face gem pack, and I was like, these marketers, they have to go back to marketing school or something like that. Anyways, all right. Well, this is running a bit long in the tooth, so we should probably wrap it up there. I guess.
All right. Well, thanks for being on, DP.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Looking forward to our collab in the future.
Yep. Me too.
All right.
That'd be good. All right. Take care, man.
Take care. See ya.
Bye. Well, let's talk about where you've been.
All right. Well, I'm going to do a real thing because I know that people actually did start listening to the show, and you can put all this on there. I don't care. People start listening to the show, and you have shared with me how people actually want me to come back on the show and stuff. And that I'm not saying that's out of the realm of possibility. I'm just saying that currently it's not a thing that's going to happen. So I went through a divorce, and during that time, getting used to the new normal and the routine. I have 2 children that I have to split custody and time with my ex with, and so it's been very time consuming, and it just something had to fall to the wayside, and the podcast that we were doing happened to be the one thing that was easiest to get rid of at the time. Also, I was doing all of the editing for the audio portion of the podcast, and I really got to a point where that was taking up so much of my time that I couldn't do things I needed to do. So it's actually great now that Hate Mail and Kage do all the editing. I'd love to come back on the show and just have to talk. It'd be wonderful.
Well, we've invited you to do that, but you've been so lazy that you haven't made it to that either.
But no, I know. And that's, like I said, that's part of me getting back used to the new norm. There's no... And
he also got a girlfriend just for a little while. Well, not a girlfriend, we'll just say a partner.
I had, and it's not like I got divorced and immediately had a girlfriend. There was a time between. Don't make it seem like I'm some kind of
he's not like
jerk.
Kage, who just is out running the streets all the time.
So yeah, if once things get more settled and I get used to the routine and I can find the time, I'll probably come back on the show. But just getting used to the new norm, and
it would be good to have a Gear 10 player back on, because Kage's wailed out lately, so he's Gear 11 world too. So, and even Ogre's got pretty hefty roster these days.
Oh, I imagine so, because like I said, with the minimal playing I've been doing, my roster still doesn't suffer. I mean, I still use my core roster from the old before the meta shifted to Wonder Girl. I don't use the Wonder Girl teams, so but I can still get, I use my Etrigan, my Bane, and my Batman Beyond. Also, I got a little Red Robin I use. I just, I've got a pretty good core of maxed out characters, so I can still manage to get through the events and get the shards for the new characters. Like I said, I just haven't had the time or put the money in to try to max out the new characters.
I also want to thank everyone for the year of listeners. We have a great fan base and community, so we hope to provide a lot more interesting content for you. And as DP and I just finished going through, we're going to be looking at doing our WROL broadcast news agency, so we have a lot of fun, cool ideas for that, and hopefully bring you more content, and appreciate the long year, and hopefully we have another year going forward. Any closing thoughts, Kage?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my fans and my haters. You are the ones you are the reasons I'm here.
You're not even famous, bro.
So I do appreciate helping to serve the community and helping Hate pump out content. You guys rock.
Noger?
Yeah, I can't believe it's been a year already. Thanks everybody for listening and supporting us, obviously. Look forward to continue to do this, for as long as we can. Obviously, as long as this great game is still around, so thanks for listening.
Okay, back to you, Slowbeast.
I just want to, while I've got everyone's attention, I just want to say thank you so much. I never would have made it this whole year podcasting, this first year of podcasting without the support of the fans, and I just really appreciate them being there. It's been great.
Yeah, you really carried this show, Slow.
All right, guys. I guess we'll wrap it up right there.
Did you like the show? Consider becoming a patron. Go to patreon.com/WeRRRLegends for more information.
Thanks for listening. You're not going to say anything?
Hey guys, this is Ogre Barbarian. Thanks for listening to this episode of We Are Legends. Be sure to tune in next episode of the Oddsmen broadcast coming next week.